See, we live in an age where we don't get to go incommunicado. Short of a parachute drop into the Brazilian Pantanal, it just doesn't happen. Now that could be maybe a beautiful thing. We could think of a mother sitting at home in Ireland on a dark night, even though the lights are on, and a rain driving from a slate grey sky against the window, and a cold wind coming in and prying at every unsealed window. But yet, these days, she can jump online and via webcam can see her son 17,000 kilometers away on the other side of the world in full color and hear his voice. Like, just think of the absolute miracle as that woman can generate a whirl of bits and bytes that travel across the crazy connected web and come out the other side and reorganize themselves into the perfectly clear question, are you sure you're wearing clean underpants every day? Now this is the thing, technology has made the world a smaller place. In essence, we in the developing world have a presence in every single other living room. But in many ways, it's actually gone the other way, and it's almost driven it to the point where people that we're closer to are getting driven further away. I work in an office with 3 people here in North City, and to see my harbour view, I look over a guy called Damien's shoulder, who sits literally in front of me. I could actually lean over and slap him. Now, luckily, it hasn't come to that, but it's kind of nice and comforting to know that it's always an option if I need to. I could whisper and he will hear me absolutely perfectly clear, yet we still find ourselves communicating by instant messenger and keyboard. It's insane. I come in on a Monday. Hey mate, how's your weekend? Not too bad. Yours? Good, yeah, pretty good. A bit quiet. Did that purchase order go in? Yeah, it did. Where is it? Well, actually it's over there. And he'll point. And I'll say, thanks. No worries. That is insane when you think about it. I can almost hear Darwin kind of chuckling in the background as my voice box gets smaller. I'm almost sure that there's a little lump at the side of my hand here that 2 generations, 3 generations from now is going to get bigger until eventually it becomes an extra finger. We don't think about this stuff. That way of communication means that we can have a conversation that appears for all intents and purposes to be about work, but at the same time can be browsing our favorite websites. Now last year, Facebook, it's estimated, cost between 4 and 6 billion in productivity to the Australian economy. That's a huge amount of people in work sitting there checking their friends' statuses. Now, it's a weird thing, you get to hear the absolute minutiae of people's lives, yet we're absolutely riveted by it. I went online last night at 10 o'clock and I took a really small sample of my friends and what their statuses were on this social networking site. And I say small status because, a small amount, because everyone knows rate your own self-worth based on how many friends you have on Facebook. Some of the quotes, Dave Pennell just realised that picnics are how grown-ups justify drinking wine in the park. Peter Simpson is in love. Carla Bernardo is missing her dog a lot right now. Karina Grace is still holding on to hope. And Tommy Callio has tasted Magic Hat number 9 and liked it. So from funny to sweet to absolutely cryptic. And I do feel like my life is enriched with the novel. If I get bored with this though, there's a plethora of websites out there now that I can get the news on anything from anywhere at any time. Like our Olympic golden couple. And everyone knows now that Stephanie Rice and Eamon Sullivan have gone their separate ways. How did the newspapers find out? Well, in a mark of absolutely amazing investigative journalism, newspapers reported that their friends actually told us that they changed their status on Facebook to not in a relationship. Amazing, unbelievable reporting. But that's the problem. The news media now is under such pressure to produce a constant stream of where it happens, whenever it happens news, that they have to fill this feed. They have to generate the news from somewhere. So what we find is that the media is now digging that bit deeper, right to the bottom of the barrel. And just as likely these days, instead of quality reportage and current affairs or international affairs, we'll probably get a story about the man in orange who can produce the national anthem via the medium of flatulence. It's insane. We're in a swamp of trivia and the important stuff is constantly passing us by. We live our lives with this battery of technology that really has us kind of running almost to stand still, to the point where even the most basic rituals such as mating are being affected. Now I really believe that we're in serious trouble, because what's going to happen is we're going to bypass the pheromones, the alcohol, and the lies against the average couple together. It's dangerous ground. Online dating, I believe, is the romantic equivalent of IKEA, except the furniture has to like you back. So, yeah. Sarah, I'll just check if we haven't stock. There's a bit of a problem. I'm afraid it's actually going to need you to be a little bit taller, a bit less pale, and actually got a better sense of humor. It's weird. But we find ourselves going online to date and realize very quickly that it's populated with the kind of people who can make a fortune writing descriptions for property. You know, as savvy home investors, you'll get to know that cozy means can't swing a cat. In the world of online dating, 30-ish means 39 and a half years old. Free-spirited means alcohol-driven lunatic. And the real danger is that we're going to lose charming phrases from the English language. These cyber couples, when they produce children, won't get to say, well, before you were a twinkle in your daddy's eye. It'll more likely be, before you were a double left mouse click with your daddy's right hand. It's terrible. So we're awash with technology, but somehow we're losing that human interaction. You know, we can wait with eager anticipation for an iPhone and what it's going to deliver, some time savings, and then sit up until 3 a.m. in the morning trying to figure out how the damn thing works. We can download any album that's probably ever been produced, but we miss out on the joy of sitting in a room full of friends, and as that needle draws across the new vinyl, hearing songs that we wouldn't have otherwise listened to, and then becoming our favourites. We'll talk to a complete stranger in South Africa, yet we'll bury our heads in the postbox to pretend that we're busy while our neighbour walks by so we don't have to have a conversation. So technology has given us so much, but it's taken away so much as well. And I just look forward to a couple of generations where we're voiceless and pale, and our 15-fingered hands are fluttering across a giant keyboard. I just hope somewhere in the world that some mother is going to ask, are you wearing clean underpants?